Our version of Macbeth began life over a year ago, wasn't it? It was about 18 months ago. And Alan had asked me to work with him on a reading of Macbeth. He'd had an idea to play Macbeth, but also that him and the actress playing Lady Macbeth would swap parts on alternate nights. So it was incredibly exciting, but it seemed to have this incredibly quite radical, exhilarating central idea, but that it didn't quite follow to the rest of the presentation. We carried on talking about it. Andy was really blown away by Alan and what, Alan's performance in the whole thing. And we talked for hours, I remember, that night, and at one point Andy said, I've always thought that a one-man version of Macbeth set in a psychiatric hospital, a psychiatric ward would work, and suddenly it all went ka-ching, and pennies dropped, and the world fell into a beautiful place.
Shall blow the horrid deed in every eye, that tears shall drown the wind.
And then looking at the play, you start to notice just how much insanity, madness runs through the entire play. So as we've been working on it, we keep on discovering more and more places where sort of the concept of the idea and the script really integrate well. It's been a real process figuring out how to tell the story with just one actor. We sort of came in with some ideas about how it might work, and part of the process has been exploring just how we wanted to tell the story with mostly just Alan.
Fair is foul and foul is fair. Hover through the fog and filthy air.
It's a big physical and vocal exertion for Alan. So we've been working with Ross Steen on voice and Chris Devaney on movement, and so they start with a kind of ritual, a regime with him in the morning, because it really is an incredibly demanding, ambitious project for him to do. It's somebody doing an hour and 3/4 of Shakespeare, to all intents and purposes, kind of on their own with an audience. So hopefully what they'll feel is the experience of watching one of the greatest plays ever written, performed by one of the greatest actors currently alive and well and living.
We've really felt it was important that if this was your 50th Macbeth or your first Macbeth, that you still could follow the story and were engaged.
And there's a real environment that we've put a lot of thought and effort, the whole creative team has, into creating, which is this psychiatric hospital populated by the fine actors Myra McFadyen and Ali Craig, who really give you the world that this version of Macbeth comes from.
I think if you're going to do Macbeth, you have to have a real reason to do it. Or as with most Shakespeare plays, that they have been done so many times that there's no point in doing just another Macbeth. So I think we did set fairly ambitious goals for ourselves, that we wanted to bring a really unique telling to the story that no one had ever really seen the play this way before. So I would say there was an ambition there.
It's right in a way that, 500 years later we should be finding new ways to tell these stories, and anyone who finds that kind of, I suppose, sacrilegious to what the original form of the play is, I kind of, I laugh at, really, because I'm like, look, that play's been around for quite a few years. I'm sure it's going to survive.
We're not going to break it.
We're not going to break it, We're just trying to make it as urgent and I suppose powerful and resonant as possible for an audience watching it in June and July 2012 in Glasgow and New York.
I have no spur to prick the sides of my intent, only vaulting ambition which o'erleaps itself and falls on the other.